we're going to do something a little bit different here in our In the Loop segment. So let's go ahead and hit it. All right. So today in the Loop segment, I want to let you guys know about a campaign that our network has started. This is a campaign that is coming straight out of that Bible study where we're talking about wanting to lend to the Lord, right? So lend to the Lord, Proverbs 19, or is it Proverbs 17 or Proverbs 19? Proverbs 19. Whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay him for his deed. So we in partnership with our micro churches out in Uganda, Kenya, and India, launched this campaign for the end of the year to be able to bless those micro churches and the work that they do amongst the poor. I want you guys to know, I am not somebody who ever actually enjoys asking anyone for money, especially in a Christian context. Because if I'm being honest, I think there's been so many people who have misused the name of Jesus, so many people who have misused the platform, that I don't want to in any way be bundled up with those folks. But here's the truth. God had, like we've said, God has given us, all of us, no matter what situation we're in, he's given us blessings, not only so that we can enjoy them, but so that we can bless others as well. So as I'm sharing with you about this campaign and what the people in these different churches have planned to do on behalf of the poor in their communities, I want you to be engaging with the Spirit of God and asking him how he wants you to respond. I guarantee you there is a response he's calling you to. Now, I don't know if that's going to be a certain amount of money. I don't know if that's going to be you committing to prayer, but like, I know that God's not going to have you walk away from this doing nothing, because these are his people that he has plans to provide for. So we as his people have a role to play in that. So the Lend to the Lord campaign is really looking to bless the Steps of Kindness ministry that's out in Kenya, and the Bethlehem Full Gospel Ministries that's out in India, and his Providence Ministries in Uganda, and the work that they do amongst the poor. To start off, let me tell you a little bit about Steps of Kindness. I think we've got a slide that shows you Pastor Abraham and his church. He's on the far left there of this screen. This is a small church, one of the churches, the micro churches in our network, and they are right there in the slums of Nairobi. And he has services on Sundays and does Bible study and counseling throughout the week, and goes, and this is one of the things that really blesses my heart. He goes and intentionally is giving from the little bit that we give. The Unshackled Network supports them to a degree. He gives some of that to the poor in their community. And I think we have some pictures of some of the work that he's done. Look at him with those kids. And in that top right-hand corner, that's some of the giving that he's done through his ministry called Steps of Kindness. He's offered free haircuts to the kids in the community there. And there's a lot that he's just trying to do in response to all that God's given him. He's just trying to pay that forward and lend it back to the Lord. And that's what I want to encourage all of you guys. So anything that you give today, if you go to unshacklednetwork.org/give, or if you're able to go to the QR code, where is it? There. There. You can make your way to our giving page on our website, where you can give straight to the campaign. There's two, actually I'll show you guys real quick as we're going through this so you don't get lost. I'm going to take you to our website for a moment. So this is our homepage, but once you hit that Unshackled Network /give, it'll take you here. You can either hit give right here, and then that'll take you to our PayPal. If you automatically gave right here, that goes to our general fund. but you'd want to go to Lend to the Lord campaign. Then anything you give right there, every single dollar of that is going directly into these 3 ministries. We don't take any of it. And just so y'all know, no one in the Unshackled Network gets paid a dime. Like we were from the start very intentional that we wanted to make sure that most of all of our money goes directly to helping those in need, and the other bits of it are kind of helping pay for some of the things that we need to do. But anyways, that's one way that you can give, going directly to PayPal, or if you go down here where it says click to give to the campaign, this will take you to the GoFundMe, which is the public version of that. So you can go ahead. Oops, you'll see that later. So you can go ahead and use those things. So that's where you go if you go to the QR code there. But let me tell you a quick story about one of the young ladies in Steps of Kindness Ministry. Her name is Mary Margaret. Pastor Abraham sent me this about her. She is an orphan. She was a young lady who lost her parents early in life in an accident on the road. Before Steps of Kindness started helping her, she didn't have shoes or clothing, or well, she had the clothes on her back, but she didn't have like changes of clothes. And she wasn't in school. One of the things that I've learned through my relationships with these ministries is that it is not a given that kids go to school. Like here, they will, arrest you if your kids don't attend school because they're truant. There, they have to pay fees in order to have their kids attend. So it's a blessing. And Mary Margaret wasn't able to be in school. But as we started blessing his organization, and he was able to then pay some of that forward, he's actually been able to connect her with an orphanage there, and she's being fed through there. But also, he was able to help pay for her schooling so that she can get into school and now enjoy those things that so many of our kids are like angry about going, like and refuse to go. These kids in Africa like know it's a blessing, because they really see education is their way out, the way to, have a better life. And that's part of what we're going to be able to provide through the funds that come through the campaign today for the Steps of Kindness Ministry is some of the funding that they are able to give for kids just like Mary Margaret. So I would encourage you, go ahead, go to unshacklednetwork.org/give and give today, as you can be a part of what is happening in Steps of Kindness. But also, if we go on to the next slide, we'll skip that one. We have our brother Anand. Pastor Anand also goes by Pastor Aparao, which I think it means like Papa something or another. I don't remember, but he is a super dynamic man of God there in India. When we first engaged with him, I didn't know the impact that he was already able to have. And then the more and more I've talked with him, I see he's like a bishop actually there in India, but not like, and no shame on TD, but he doesn't have like massive, auditorium and amazing, services and all that. He wanders around India and takes crowds with him to go and preach the good news, talk about the Spirit of the Lord anointing him to preach the good news to the poor. That's what he sees as his calling. And he goes and he brings the word. He sends me frequently pictures and videos of him baptizing so many people as he's going into unreached villages that have still yet to hear of the name of Jesus.
Wow.
And then he doesn't do that without, giving them something practical, because he knows, like James says, to like just tell somebody God bless you and not feed them is like demonstrating a lack of the works in your faith. And he wants his faith to be seen clearly. So he makes sure that he's able to go and provide, food and give stuff away to the poor on a regular basis. And I think we have some other pictures of some of the things he's done. That was one of the first things that I did when I was engaged with him, was literally like, sometimes y'all said like, you're not sure what people are going to do with it. And I didn't really know him yet. So I was like, all right, man, well, here's $10. Then he sent me back a picture of like 20 kids that were fed with my $10.
Wow.
And I was like, Okay. How much more can I send you? You know what I mean? Like, because I used to be a part of Compassion International, and no shame on them either. But I also know, like, they have a lot of overhead.
Yep.
Like, their CEOs making mad money. They got a lot of promotional materials. So who knows how much of that money that they're making is actually going to help each one of these kids. But like, to see the direct impact that was happening through Bethlehem Full Gospel Ministries with Pastor Nan, it just blew me away. So they're one of the ministries that I am so readily wanting to give more and more to. And I would encourage you guys definitely to be a part of the Lend to the Lord campaign, because a part of the giving today will go for his ministry and his giving to the poor. One of his actual hopes right now in this season is that he can do oh wait, let me no go ahead.
Okay,
I'll come back to this. I'll talk about one of the hopes that he has, but I forgot I should tell you this story about this man Siva. This is a poor man that he ran into, and like, he didn't know this man from Adam. Like, he's just man on the street, but he was obeying the Spirit of God. And he met Siva, and he found out that this man, who was a day laborer working hard every day out in the streets, who started having itching on his legs and was scratching his legs, and he couldn't satisfy it. It's an unquenchable itch. And he said it got to a point where it was unbearable. So he actually poured hot water on his legs, thinking that would fix it. But for some reason, that blackened it, like you see there. And then there's this huge infection that started growing, and he was then like having really trouble walking on it. And he found out that when Anand took him to the doctor, like, random pastor who walked into him on the street, did the Good Samaritan thing, not the walking by him. He stopped, he engaged with him, he saw his need, and he went and takes him to the hospital. Found out that he's diabetic. And the doctor told him that actually his foot had so much infection that it was likely that he was going to lose his whole leg. And they were able to help pay for the surgery. And I think we go to the next slide. While you don't see full recovery, you see the healing of the infection. And now he's able to go work and provide for his family each and every day. And this is the Spirit of God that is anointing people to be the hands and feet of God all around. And that's one of the things that I love about what Pastor Nan does on a regular basis. And what his hope is right now, if we go to the next slide, is that in addition to his normal giving, that he would like to do some offerings for the orphans and the handicapped children in their area for Christmas boxes. This is a picture from last year when he did that same thing, and I was able to be a part of that. And some of the funds that you give today for the Lend to the Lord campaign will go to help the Christmas Joy boxes. It's like Operation Christmas Child, except you're not going in through this organization. He there on the ground is actually going to be going and filling these boxes with the things that you give financially through. So I would encourage all you guys to go ahead, check out the campaign at unshacklenetwork.org/give, and you can give to be a part of what he's doing there as well. And the last micro church that is part of this campaign is His Providence Ministries. So I talked about Compassion International. One of the things I love about Compassion International is that they are trying to build community with a lot of these kids that they are serving, and they do services and that sort of thing for them. His Providence Ministries in Uganda takes it to the next level. He's actually running an orphanage. And one of the things I love about his story is, like, he has no background that would say this is what he should be doing. he didn't go to school for this. He doesn't have a big funding thing. He was a guy who was living a life in the center of things in Uganda and was in university to be a teacher. And then one day the Lord broke his heart for the poor in his community. And he felt led by God to open up an orphanage. And so he's just been being led by the Spirit. Come on, you're seeing this common thread. He's being led by the Spirit each and every day for the next step to take care of these kids. And he's got 32 children right now that are in his care in this home. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard the story of George Mueller, but he was a man in, I want to say, somewhere in Europe, who very much like John Patrick was just waiting on God each and every day for the food for the kids, for the way that they're going to fund getting them to school and that sort of thing. And that's what John Patrick does. Let me tell you one story about one young lady that's part of his ministry. Her name is Melissa. I'm not going to try to pronounce her last name because I will butcher it. But when he found her, she had just lost her parents to HIV. Her father died in January of 2018, so it wasn't that long ago. And the mother died that following November. Melissa, she was 5 years of age, and her elder sister, Faith, who was 7, they started working hard to survive. They were digging in the fields. They were doing people's housework just for food. In early January of 2019, they were sent out of the house, the room that they were living in, when people found out that their deceased parents weren't there and they weren't paying the bills. So they resorted then to the streets. And one day, he says, while he was coming home from work, he came across those two, and they were sleeping near a dustbin along the road. He picked them up, and he's had them both ever since. And I believe that was actually when the ministry was really getting started, was with these young ladies. They both at that point had stopped going to school. They'd now, through some of the funds that we've been able to provide as well, they've been able to now take them back to school. And there's so many kids right now that are in his ministry, however, that still don't have the funds for school. But she was one that was able to be blessed in that way. But recently she had some health issues, and you saw in that last picture with her appendix, and they were able to take her to go get her medical diagnosis, and they found out that she had appendicitis. But through people's giving at that point, we had a very special offering that we were a part of. Some people watching this may have been able to give to that. She was able to recover, have a full recovery, and we see her there smiling and enjoying her brothers and sisters, really, because they all live together in the same orphanage. And so she's one of the most jolly, he says, one of the most jolly and smart kids at the home. And she teaches the younger ones there in her evenings. She enjoys Bible study sessions and always participates fully. And she says, he says, we always try our level best to help her achieve her dream of becoming a teacher. And you guys, in the midst of John Patrick's journey, not having all the riches of this world, but having the Spirit of God, he responded, and he saw God on the margins, and he went and he blessed them. And so I want to encourage you guys right now to be thinking about how God would be having you respond. Be engaging with your spirit, his spirit within you right now, and seek him to see what it is he would be saying to you about how you can be a part of blessing these kids and others like them in those ministries. And like I said before, every single dime except for what the PayPal and the GoFundMe takes out will be going directly to care for those kids and to be furthering the mission and the ministry that they have amongst the poor there in Uganda, Kenya, in India. So I would encourage you guys to be a part of the Lend to the Lord campaign. Once again, going to the unshacklednetwork.org/give. Or if you're on another device, you can scan that code right there, and that'll take you right to that website. And I want you to know that this isn't the only way to respond. I know this is going to be a weird thing to say after talking about a campaign, but there are things in your neighborhood. There are things near you. There are people that you know that God may be calling you into being more a part of. I just want to encourage you, respond to whatever it is that the Spirit of God is putting on you. And trust me, not a single dime will ever be wasted. So any final comments on that, Jariel?
No, I was just moved to give.
Yeah, I know. I got to give more. I've been waiting.
I know. And I was like, man, I love that little girl. She looks so cute with her new dress.
So speaking of them, his Providence Ministry. So my wife and I, we used to do Compassion International. We used to have a kid that we sponsored, and then
Mm.
like maybe 6 months ago, his family left the program, and so they were trying to send me to another kid. But literally that same day, I had John Patrick who was messaging me about needs. I think it might have been for needs for that girl with her appendix, and I was like, oh, we can give money to that. And then Larissa was talking to me. She's like, well, why don't we just shift our financial resources to supporting them? Because
Yeah.
we know every dollar that we send there is actually helping take care of these kids who
Yeah.
we can engage with. And we know, like, they send back videos like, thank you, Pastor Fury. And
Yeah.
like, so I've been so blessed by that. So I'm not going to try to like say how much we give, but like we give to them every month. So
Yeah.
whatever anybody feels led to, I know it's going to be not only a blessing to you, but like I get blessed. Even just knowing that I'm a part of what God's doing there. That's all I need.
Yeah.
So